English because my Spanish is very poor, so sorry. Today I will have a presentation with a lot of data, that's why I chose to make PowerPoint. We have made an impact analysis of our Universal Access program that has celebrated 10 years in 2013. So you see, in 10 years we have connected 15 million people. Brazil is an enormous country. We cannot compare with the others here in Latin America, the challenges. But for you to have an idea, in the year of 2000, according to our institution of statistics, we had 94.5% of universal access. And now we have, in 2013, we reached 99.8%. So this is what 15 million people represent, more or less. So first, also, as Matilde mentioned, we have here like the beneficiaries profile. So here we can see what kind of economic activity the householders have. So they are mainly rural workers. But also we have people who do not have an economic impact, so pensioners, housewives, and also others, wage earners. And also the gender composition of the families is there. It should be 51%, not 52%, but it's very balanced also. If we regard what kind of revenue these families have, this is measured in minimum wages in Brazil. That is more or less $300 nowadays. So we are dealing with very poor families in Brazil. So because this is the average monthly family wage, so it's not much money. So these are very poor people. This is one thing that we love to verify. Is what people did after they got electricity access. So people bought a lot of domestic appliances. And they say that every time the grid was coming to the cities and communities, we saw the trucks with those from the retail stores coming with all these domestic appliances. And you see there's a lot of television, cell phones, and things that help women in homes, like washing machines and iron and those things. So, but it's an enormous amount of things being sold because of the program. This is another interesting table, which shows what people felt that was more valued in terms of opportunities and improvement. So what I like here is, what I think is very important, that people started more school activities during the day, but especially during the night, because this is something that you can do when you don't have access to electricity or to light. And also we have like new work opportunities and also other sources of family income. And one thing that if we look to this goal of improving women's and children's health, there are now communities that have health clinics available. That was not possible before. So this is very important as well. And also security, because when you have smaller communities and when there is some criminal problems, then when you have like lights during the night, so people feel more secure now. And when we see what kind of businesses people started engaging after they got electricity, we see that it was mainly in the service sector. So they started with grocery stores, bars, bakeries, drugstores and all. And we see also that people started making a lot of home improvements, so new constructions or expansions of the houses, and this has also impacts in health. And this is something that I think is very revealing of this program. We have talked yesterday a lot about this urbanization trend in Latin America, but when we see this program in Brazil, 5% of the families that are now in the country came back from cities after the electricity reached their community. So this is an important number, I think. And promoting gender equality. These are 3 points that are very sensitive for women, I think. Women starting in production activities, women having more security in their villages, and also women going back to school. So this is, I think, there are important numbers. And this is a slide that I think is maybe a big contribution that we can make to the discussion here. And I am an economist, so this is very important for me, is when we think about funding, because you see, 15 million people, this has cost more or less 22 billion reais, this is more or less $9 billion. And how do we fund this? The first information that I wanted to tell you is that we had already before a rural electrification program that did not work. And the problem is that we've financed the grids and some generation facilities, but we did not find before the connection to the households. So now when we talk about this program, what is being financed is the whole connection to the houses. So the consumer doesn't have to pay for anything. He gets the connection ready at his place. So how did we do this? We have here, the funding is made mainly by the federal government, but we have also a stakeholder participation by the states and by what we name the executing agent, which are the distribution companies. Because in Brazil, the universal access is a goal for each distribution company. But what we chose to do was to accelerate the pace of universal access. So they have like some part that they have to do by their means, and this goes then to the tariffs. When we consider this blue part, this federal government, we see what was then released and not released yet from this funding. And then from the part that was already released, we see that 10 billion reais, that's more or less 4 billion reais, was paid by what we call CDE. It's an energy fund. And this means that this is a cross-subsidy. All other consumers in Brazil who can afford for electricity, they pay like a fee in their tariffs, and we constitute a fund. And with this, we do what we call social policies in the sector. So we have afforded for these investments in universal access, but also we pay for affordable tariffs for families with low income, and also some kind of renewable energies. But they are now very competitive in Brazil, so they don't need this help anymore. But at the beginning, they had this help from this fund. But this is something that has worked in Brazil, and I think we should have this in mind, that in countries where there is a larger paying capacity by other consumers, maybe we should think that they could help others that don't have this capacity. And for you to have an idea, this was more or less 8% of the tariffs from the regular consumers. So what they contributed to this fund. So this is not that much. And here is what we call the positive externalities, opportunities. What have we enabled with this program also? The creation of 473,000 jobs, the acquisition of this enormous quantity of poles, wires, and transformers. So this also was a very good input for the factories and economic activity in the sector. And also more or less $2.8 billion in those home and kitchen appliances that were bought. So this is a lot of economic activity that we created with this program. So that's it.